very opinionated Amerislav here at Rich and Hydrated. And today with us, a longtime favorite, we have Carly with us. Hi, babe.
Thanks for having me, babe.
Okay, so for everyone, Carly is living the actual and absolute dream of the dream life. For one, your views right now, and you have a house new build, and you have all the fucking horses,
Yeah.
and you have all the dogs, and you
Yeah.
have all the acres, and you have all the rivers and all the fish in the rivers, and you have all the good food, and you have a strong fitness, all the body, like, and you have the money.
Yeah. I mean, we got a lot of it, and there's always more, always bigger. It doesn't end here. That's for sure.
Before we go into like your like the history and how you got where you got, what I love, one of my favorite thing about you is where, well, for one, you're fucking grounded and rooted, and we're like, yo, working hard is made for humans. We're not doing this. Oh, I'm just existing and
And
manifesting.
and doesn't fucking exist. Happen.
Oh my god, it's such a scam. Also, by the way, I realized what like the lie is that these like just lay back and exist kind of people do. They work really hard, but the work they do, they don't call that work. So therefore they just like do stuff they like, which
Yeah.
I feel like it's not work because we associate the word work with like stuff we don't like.
Yeah.
But no. What's your background?
I grew up on a farm, middle of fucking nowhere, Saskatchewan. I'm Canadian. Grew up on a farm, and my dad is the like hardest worker I've ever known in my life. He's sacrificed his whole life to provide, you know, and he set the stage for me. I'm very much like my father, and he set the stage for me of, you know, who I wanted to become. And I honestly didn't know that this life was the life that I wanted. When I graduated high school, I moved to the big city, to Vancouver, and I was like, I'm fucking done with the farm. I hate this shit. I'm never doing this again. And yeah, just growing and maturing, and then actually through COVID, like I've my background is in manual therapy and doing hands-on manual therapy with people, and there was always a ceiling of how much money I could make in that line of work because you can only see so many people in a day, and I reached that ceiling, and I worked my ass off to reach that ceiling, and I was like, this isn't enough. And I had one dog at that point, and like I'm a big dog person. I'm not a small dog person, and a big dog in the city is just it's not fair, right? And I'm not the kind of person who's like a dog is just a dog. My dogs are my family. My dogs are my fucking life, and
They're part of the working life.
They're part of the working life. I mean, to a degree, they're especially my oldest girl. She's a spoiled girl, and would I
Sure.
trust her to protect me from a bear? Not so much, but that's okay, you know. But building a life that would make her happy was like my driving force years ago before I had all this. And I was just like, I gotta figure this out. I gotta create a life where she can have total freedom and be fucking happy. And the blessing of COVID is it forced me to figure out this whole online world. And I mean, I'm still figuring it out for sure, but in the last 4.5-ish years, I figured it out, and my business is fucking growing. And the land and the animals and the relationship and everything is growing out of my work ethic and drive.
Yes. And I want to touch on a little of our perhaps overlapping background or just background in general. So I went on the virus of feminism, right? Being anti world. I probably even think that like maybe those corners is where we ended up like kind of connecting or meeting. I'm not even sure. The whole And then COVID and the turnaround like became very anti-government.
Yeah. I mean,
Uh,
I've always been very anti-government. My family is very anti-government.
yes,
That just runs through my veins. But I
yes,
definitely drank the feminist Kool-Aid for fucking years. I even stopped using the word or changed the word woman to be more inclusive. And it literally felt like living under a spell.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And you and I probably already connected as well. Grew up and operated on the edges. For me, mom, prostitute mom,
Yeah.
you know, drug related industries, etc., etc.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, feminism Kool Aid. How did you get off?
How did I get off? Well, I mean, COVID was the biggest blessing in that way because um, it forced me to refigure out life. Really, is what it did. I had to, refigure out my whole business. I hired a business coach that helped me take everything online, and through my work with her, it really solidified. Like I was like at this point, a fork in the road, where I was going to go fully down the feminist, woke, social activist trajectory, with who I was choosing as mentors in my life, who I was choosing to listen to, or I was going to be like, none of this fucking makes sense. Why am I doing this? Right. And even with the whole vaccine thing, you know, some of my closest friends and mentors through COVID were like, why aren't you getting vaccinated? I was like, what the fuck do I need to get vaccinated for? I'm healthy, you know? And I was just like, this just doesn't make sense. There's so much cognitive dissonance going on here. And that really, the whole vaccine thing was the piece that really like opened my mind to the whole virus of wokeism and where it all comes from. And that just sent me down, the rabbit hole of researching the real roots of feminism and how much we have been fucked over in this world through that ideology.
Yeah. And I'm very loud about it now, or I try to be loud about it, like that the commercial route of feminism comes from actual communist.
Exactly.
The communist fucking push feminism. I'm like, what
Yeah.
a like inception scam
Yeah.
almost, right? Like
Yeah.
so
And I mean,
anyway,
the whole woke virus is just communism rebranded for the modern age.
right. And especially for someone from a communist country like myself, it's so painful.
Yeah.
It's so fucking painful to see that.
Yeah.
So you live the dream life. You are actually one that embraces and vouches for hard work because we are made of that, right? Like everyone's doing my ancestors and ancestors, but they're also like, I want to sit on the, binge watch Netflix. And we're like, no, we're doing the ancestral stuff here. What does your day look like?
I mean, it depends. Some days, as you know, on the farm, shit can go sideways in a second. My days generally, like I run my whole business online right now, and so most mornings are computer work for me. I wake up early. You know, I take care of myself. My self care is my number one priority. If I don't take care of myself, then like I'm a fucking raging bitch, and it's just not enjoyable to be around me.
And what are
So
some of the non-negotiables?
the way I eat is an absolute non-negotiable. I do like my stretching, my exercise, my body work. I do self body work on myself every single morning. All these little things. I get up, I watch the sunrise. I have a really slow, drawn out morning because that is what sets the tone for my nervous system for the day. Because I know that like if I can't handle all of this dream isn't going to happen. So I have to be diligent with how I do things, right? How I start my day. Um, Especially going through COVID and like right before the year before COVID, my mom passed away from cancer, and that whole couple years was just like running. It was like running around a chicken running around with its head cut off. Just
Mhm.
chaos, chaos, chaos. And that put me into premature ovarian syndrome, which is essentially early menopause. And I've healed myself completely from that. Um, and this is the thing that people, people want all the things. They want the dream life, they want the dream body, they want the amazing health, they want to have amazing sex, but nobody wants to do the fucking work, the mundane, boring ass shit, the chop wood, carry water that actually creates change. They want to sit and manifest and think that everything's going to happen in the snap of the fingers, and it doesn't work that way for anything, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's my routine is everything. It's what keeps me going. Yeah. Yeah.
I I speak 9 languages, so I'm diligent about my language. But
Yeah.
and I made a podcast about this one time where I said, like, people say they want this, but what they actually mean is, if this thing would happen to fall in my lap without me having to do any work for it, I might
That would
enjoy
be
it.
great.
Right.
Yeah.
But that's
Yeah.
too long, so they say I want.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
I remember your house burned down a few years ago.
Hmm. Yeah. So when we
And
first bought this property, 6 weeks after we bought it, the house burned down.
what happened?
Not sure. Most likely electrical.
Because it was was it an old building, old house, or?
Yeah, it was older, but it'd been sitting. So when we bought it, we weren't told the full story of the property,
Mhm.
and it'd been sitting completely empty for like 4 years or something. And when we got here, we turned everything on, and the place, had mice running through it, and so yeah.
One of, and I think I mentioned this in our previous episode too, but new podcast, who this? Um, One of the posts that really, that, like, I have that viscerally on my eyelid burned from you is your response to you sharing that your house burned down, and everyone going like, oh my god, I couldn't be able to handle this, oh my god, this is like right nightmare, blah 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 blah, and well intended, obviously.
Hmm.
But you actually responded with, everybody's expecting me to freak out or panic, but I'm not serving my land that way. I'm not
Yeah, you
serving my
can't serve
husband that
anything.
way. I'm not serving my animals that way. If I
Yeah,
freak the fuck out right now,
yeah,
will you say
and
something about that?
yeah, 100%. And this is the view that I take for my whole life, and why I am so diligent and disciplined and devoted to taking care of myself. Because if I crumble in any situation, and that doesn't mean I don't give myself grace for, to have my full experience and experience my emotions, but like, if when shit hits the fan, we need to stay grounded, we need to stay centered to make conscious, good fucking decisions and choices, because everything's riding on me, on him, this whole fucking life. Nobody's coming in to save us, nobody's coming in to pay our fucking bills. And yeah, it's like you can fall down and fucking have a nervous breakdown and then reap the negative consequences of that, or you can choose to be the eye of the storm. And that's really a massive piece of all my work, is like, how do you become the eye of the storm where chaos can be unfolding around you and you can handle it. Like, I just had to drive to Saskatchewan a week ago, 10 days ago, something like that. It was a 20-hour drive to pick up all my shit. Now that I have a house, I can bring all my stuff here. And 5 days before we left, I bought this horse trailer to do the trip with, and the fucking horse trailer broke on the drive home. And I got to Edmonton, to one of the cities, and one of the leaf springs on the horse trailer broke. And so I called Paolo, and I'm like, what do I do? He's like, you gotta get this fixed. But it was July 1st, it's a holiday. I was like, I'm not fucking staying in Edmonton, it's not happening. I'm just gonna drive, and we're gonna see. He's like, well, if you break down break down even more where you can't even drive the trailer, then I'll drive to you and I'll fix it on the side of the road. And I just visualized the trailer fucking whole the whole time. And I prayed and I stayed calm and I drove slow and good, and I made it the whole way home.
I want to touch on several things in this just little phrase.
Yeah.
Like, for the listeners, you want masculinity? A man telling you, You go, you baby, whatever you want, you do it. If shit goes down sideways, I'm a be there.
Yeah.
Because all these fucking everyone, and I'll take the chance to jab at online world anytime. All these bitches who are like, I deserve man, and and he should just worship my feet and whatever the fuck. No, no, this is real. This is a powerful woman, and this is a powerful man standing by her side, and this is how shit goes.
Yeah.
This is actual divinity in whatever God version you believe. Like this is the actual particle of divinity. Like that communication, so fucking good.
Yeah.
Then you put your mind to it. Um, for people for one, I recommend like Carly's life work in general. So please go down that anyway. But for people who are easily stressed out during, let's say, a fucking fire, right?
Mhm.
Could you even if I'm not even sure if you have the ability because maybe it comes so natural to you, but like what is there an inner dialogue? Because I know for me,
Oh, for sure there's an inner
right,
dialogue.
because I know for me when I got into an accident or something, I can see my mind like it's almost like time pauses and I have a choice to either freak the fuck out
Exactly.
or do
Or
the other thing.
exactly.
Okay.
And like just this drive home is the perfect example of it. Like when I got home, I took pictures of the trailer and sent it to my brother and my dad, and they're like, "You're fucking lucky you made it home, kid." And I'm like, "Yeah," and I know, and I stayed centered and calm. I didn't fucking be like, "What if? What if? What if?" Fuck. Didn't no tears, no freaking out. Paula's like, "Oh, you handled that really well." I'm like, "Yeah," because I wanted to come home, you know. And it is, we always have a choice. And to me, this is the whole fucking point of doing any kind of self work, is to come to these places in life, because life is going to be, especially the world that is unfolding around us, is wild. And we can choose to be fucking psychopaths who are completely ungrounded, who can't handle any shift and change in your environment. Or, like I said, minutes ago, you can learn to become the eye of the storm, where all the world can blow up around you and you can stay centered and not send yourself into burnout, into premature menopause, into all these degenerative states that are literally destroying people's health all the time. Right? So, yeah, I have these conversations with myself constantly. And life is hard, and I do have bad days, and I don't demonize that, and I don't deny those, and I allow myself. But I always give myself a timeline. I'm like, you can have a bad day. You can have two bad days, depending on what's going on, but that's it. Then it's time to get the fuck over it and get on with life, because everybody relies on me as I am the matriarch of my whole life. And these animals are absolutely rely on me, right? And it can't crumble.
Have you always been centered?
No, but I've always been a relatively grounded. I hate drama. Like I don't have a lot of female friends because a lot of women are way too fucking dramatic, and like I don't have patience for that kind of shit. Yeah. But it has taken work to get to this place. And like one thing that has always been, I'm a very loyal, devoted person, and like I will do whatever it takes to take care of the ones I love and need to take care of. It doesn't matter what it takes to me. Yeah.
What is the biggest misconception the world or people have about the proper hands-on rural life, living with the land that you do and have?
I mean, people don't realize how much work and how much money it takes at all.
Yes.
Yeah. Like especially with the blowing up and the romanticization of homesteading on social media. Like nobody's lasting homesteading. Like our family farm has been in our family for over 100 years, you know. that's not lasting if you don't got fucking money.
It's like what's so funny is that like the people who suck at capitalism, because that's the only people who hate capitalism, they're like,
Yeah,
oh, I just want to live on a homestead. I'm like, you have
you can't.
no,
You have no idea.
it's way more expensive.
Way, yeah, exactly. It's insane. And like you lose money trying to grow your own food.
Just existing, you'll
Just
lose money.
exactly. And it just is what it is and it's okay. It's just part of the deal, right?
But it's not a life to escape, like, the hate for money and be like, oh
No,
no, I'm gonna just go live off the land. I'm like, you're absolutely delusional.
completely. They got no fucking clue.
And
People got no
right,
fucking.
and you just got a wait, you bought a we bought a mini excavator. What did you buy? You bought a
Bought a 8-ton excavator. We bought a decent. Yeah, we live in big country up here. We can't have anything mini.
right. So how much does something like that cost?
I paid 86,000 cash for it. Yeah.
That's big machinery for y'all.
Yeah,
And
and
it's
that's cheap. Like it's an older machine,
right,
brand new. That machine would have cost me 150K,
right.
right? Yeah. Like people have no idea what this life takes.
Well, and what a gift to have that big machinery, because that,
Oh my
like, it's what,
God.
like 50 people at once doing like
Exactly. Yeah.
it's
Like when we first moved to this property, we didn't have a single piece of equipment. The
right.
property came with a little tractor, but it's an old girl. Can't push it. So we rented equipment, and even just that is a nightmare because you're on a timeline and it's just rush and chaos to get shit done. And now we have skid steer, we have an excavator, and like the possibilities that open up when to do things is just massive having your own equipment. But yeah, like even just we got to most likely we'll have to drill a new water well. That's going to be minimum $30,000.
Yeah,
Like it's big money. We spent $400,000 cash our first year here.
yeah, real,
Yeah, and it's
real.
just like this is just what it is. You know, um, my guiding principle for everything I do in life is because I love my animals to death and I will do whatever it takes for them to have a good life. It's like whatever it takes for them to have as natural as healthy of a life as possible, I'm going to do it, and money is no factor. And this is where so many people, especially like in building a business, so many people get so fucked up. They just don't want to put in the work. And then oh, I can't make that kind of money. Oh, I never imagined I'd be making the kind of money I'm making. Um, but as soon as you get a taste of it, it's like, oh, this is pretty easy, actually. You're a person of integrity. You do good fucking work. You stay committed. You stay devoted. You keep learning, so that you can actually make a fucking difference in this world. You're going to be provided for.
The game of money is fairly easy. Like
It is.
it becomes fun and puzzling, and I don't want to say challenging because it's just new knowledge. Like when you try to scale,
Hmm.
right? Those are like system that you have to learn. But
Yeah.
like the game of money is a fun game.
Yeah. Totally.
I love
Totally.
when a Wolf of Wall Street, he goes like, "These are my fun coupons." Like that's such a great word. Freedom coupons.
Yeah.
You, I'm always like, I always show my husband. I'm like, oh my god, she has a red roan. No, too, she has a blue roan. Like the horse girl dream. You don't live the classical horse life though. You're not
No.
going out there and be like, hey, I want a quarter horse or this and this horse, and I'm gonna drop 40K.
Yeah. No.
You have a complete out of this world journey with the horses.
Yeah.
Tell me.
I grew up with a horse, with quarter horse, and it was very much the old school. You just get on that fucking animal and you ride it and you show it who's boss kind of relationship. And through COVID, I was like, I want to get back into horses. I'm moving out of the city. I need to find a teacher. Um, and I eventually found a teacher, and it was her way of being with horses that showed me a completely different way. It's an actual relationship. I think most people in the horse world do not have a relationship with their horse. They just get their horse to do what they want, and that's not a relationship. That's not communication. And yeah, it's like I get questions all the time. What do I need to know about if I'm going to get horses? I was like, well, first, do not buy horses if you don't got money. They are so expensive, especially if you get into injuries and illnesses. And yeah, like none of this shit comes without a big overhead, right? But and that was the thing when I met my teacher in the horse world. The first day I stepped on her property, it just like a fucking stone in my guts. Everything just sank, and I was like, "Fuck, I can't say no to this," you know. And I know the level of responsibility, the amount of money that I'm gonna have to start making and spending to make the vision that is coming to me right now, to make all of this happen. The moment I met this woman and stepped on her property, all of it hit me, and I was like,
Woo.
okay, we got to do this, you know. And that's been one of my guiding principles my whole life, is like when the universe drops me breadcrumbs. I've chosen, when I got sober from drugs and alcohol, I made the commitment, is like, I won't say no. I will follow those breadcrumbs. I will follow the instructions, do what I'm told, because that's what my incarnation is about in this life. Um, and yeah. So my relationship with horses is very different. Like, I don't even think a lot of horses actually truly want to be rode. There are some, for sure, that want to be rode, but the majority of them, I don't think they do. You know, this whole idea that a horse needs a job. Some animals, for sure, some animals are just here to exist and experience life. Um, and yeah, it's a completely different. A lot of people don't understand. Well, but it's even my teacher. She's like, a lot of people aren't going to understand your way of being with an animal, and it's hands down one of the greatest gifts I've ever experienced in my life. To be with an animal where that animal actually wants to be with you. You know, everything is a choice. It's like, you want to come, you come. You don't want to come, you don't come, and that's okay. Because realistic, like, they're my Percheron, she's fucking 2,000 pounds. I can't force her to do anything, you know?
Yeah.
No.
For the non-horse people, Percheron is like one of the biggest horses. Like
It's
it's a
draft.
drafty,
Yeah, it's
almost
full
right.
draft.
It's a bigger
Yeah,
than most
she's
people.
taller.
Like, I mean, their
Yeah,
back is bigger.
yeah, she's
Yeah,
huge.
yeah. So
Yeah,
it's like a tank
yeah.
of a
And I
horse.
would like to get to a place where, you know, she's pulling logs, and she's still just a baby. She just turned three on
Just a
June
baby.
1st. And her baby brain, you know, she still has a lot of brain development to happen. Um, but yeah, everything I do and plan to do with my animals is all from a place of choice and communication. There's no force happening. Yeah.
You can tell the working versus not working. I've seen it with my dogs, right? Like, my pit bull here is to, because
Mm-hmm.
she's a rescue, is here to learn to be
Exactly.
actually a dog, right? To not
Yes.
be in fear
Yes.
constantly. Now my
He's there
Belgian
to work.
Malinois, he's like, he
Totally.
needs to work. He's like begging me, show me, tell me, mom, what to do, tell me what to do. And now he's like
Mm-hmm.
jumping into trees, right? And like getting stuff and stuff. He's like, let's go, mom. Okay, one more thing. Tell me more, one more. Let's go. Right? It's
Yeah.
such a different state.
Yeah. And
Yeah, I could
to
see.
me, it's just like,
Oh,
can
go
we
ahead.
actually honor each, you know, animal and what they actually are here for in this life? You know, because every
Hmm.
being has a different soul contract that they come in with, right? And instead of putting our ideas, imposing our, you know, ideas of what they should be doing onto them, being in a co-creation with them.
It's such a it's such a, I feel like it's like a third way of being, where you have the people who have their animals almost as, I want to say emotional support, but like where like they lean too much, so like the animal becomes
Their
like, you know,
crutch.
your, which is, I don't think is healthy, right, which I don't
No.
think is healthy either. Or you have the people who only
Yeah.
have the working animals, right, which is like, it has to work, if it doesn't
Yeah.
work it's out. And then now like this, what you're describing is like
Yeah.
this third way, which like there's working animals and there's non-working, there's like
Yeah.
being animals. I don't know how to, what's your trajectory right now, journey with the horses, like, because you went to school several times, or to
Mhm.
some version of
Yeah.
a school, right? um what are you exploring
I
right now?
mean,
What are
my
you learning?
biggest,
And
because we live so far north and there's not a lot of resources in the north, my biggest intention with my animals in my life is to not need a vet as little as possible, to be as self sufficient,
mm,
to be able to heal my animals. Like, they get cut, they get infections. I'm in a place where I'm pretty good at not needing anybody to deal with shit. I can take care of a lot myself now. That's my biggest intention. My vision with my horses, I'm still unsure of where we're gonna go with what we're gonna be doing. Because yeah, it's a dance. I have a lot of babies. Like, my youngest is 3 years old and they're still growing. And I don't believe in, I don't like the term breaking a horse. I like gentling a horse. I don't believe in, teaching a horse to ride until their spine can actually handle weight on their back, which is around 5 years old. So I have time with them to figure that kind of stuff out.
yeah.
Um, and the vision on the property is, like, with my own personal work, what I teach women is having people come here to receive the work that I do and then receive the co-regulation from the animals, which is such a rare experience. Like, I can't tell you how many horse barns I've been to where, it's like a teaching horse barn, riding lessons and all that shit. And those horses, unfortunately, it's fucking heartbreaking. A lot of those horses, I can't say all of them, but a lot of those horses are just robots. They do what they're told. They know they don't have a choice and they just act accordingly. And it's a different experience to be with an animal who knows that they have sovereignty, right? That if they don't want to be around a person, they don't need to be. And to be able to just watch animals act, as really am trying my hardest to, give my horses as natural of a life as possible, so that you can see those instinctive traits in them. Like, two of my horses are dog killers. They haven't killed a dog yet, but they try damn near every chance they get. And I'm not going to take that from them. That's an instinct that they need to keep, because we have wolves and we have bears. And if they need to kill, they need to kill, right? And it's just, yeah, I want my animals' instincts, all of my animals. Like, my cats are just feral, wild little cats, and I love it. They fucking kill everything. And I want all those instincts intact. I don't want to.
And you know, this is no fucking frolicking in the fucking field. This
Yeah,
is
this
real
is real
nature.
nature. We have grizzly bears, right? We are an apex predator country.
You don't mean to tell me you don't choose the bear over the man?
No.
I want to emphasize, because I'm not sure if everyone's catching it. That's why I want to emphasize, like, how transparent and gracious you are about the fact. Docs, can we figure out life, please? Thank you. Um, how you are like, I don't know. I don't know where this horse
Yeah.
journey is gonna go, and right, because everyone's like, you have to have a goal constantly. You have to constantly, right? We're climbing ladders up in this bitch, and you're just like, I actually don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Because it's like every horse is going to have a different choice, right? My old
Mhm.
guy, he fucking hates being a trained horse. He just wants to be a wild stallion. And unfortunately, I can't give him his testicles back, you know? So I'm just like, you just get to be a wild old boy because he got treated really poorly the first half of his life. And I put zero expectations. My animals, all my animals, do not need to perform for me. You know, there's zero expectation like that put on them. And I love that because that, like, our relationship is like it's an actual relationship. You know, every time my horse walks up to me, I know it's because they want to, they want to be with me, not
Yeah.
because they have to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And your property still, like, you are keeping your property fairly
Oh
like
yeah.
raw, right? Like, I know
Yeah,
you
we
have
have fences
fences,
and like
but
we've been our first 2 years, this is our third year that we're starting this spring, so it's still fresh, you know. But our first 2 years here were drought. So that really limited like on growing and like my horses don't even have grass to eat, you know. But that I love that because they eat bushes, they eat trees, they eat fucking everything else, which I also really the more I understand these animals and the more I watch them, I'm like they're really not meant to live on lush green grass. You know, they're foragers, they're not grazers like a cow. Like a cow has 4 stomachs to digest that amount of grass. Horses don't have that. Yeah. And I have 2 horses now that are wildies, which in Canada they're called wildies. In the States they're called Mustangs. And
okay.
they're so fucking intelligent. Like they dig up roots to eat, you know, like they are. It's fascinating watching a horse that was born in the wild without human contact compared to a horse that was born in captivity.
Oh, tell me more. I will. Yeah, I bet
Huge
there's like a
difference.
huge
Huge
difference in how they
difference in their
operate.
herd intelligence, in how they correct one another, in the foods they eat, in how they take care of their hooves. Like my one guy, he self trims completely, you know, and
Hmm.
that's like I specifically got these wild horses to teach the other horses what it's like to be a fucking horse, right? Because when you're born in captivity, and we can equate this to humans too, when we're born in captivity, we lose so much. We do. This is just the nature of it. And this is why captivity was created to dumb us fucking down, to cut us off from our instincts, from our intuition, so that we can be slaves to the machine, right? You know, it's all by design. So I got these wildies to help my horses remember everything.
I love that. And it's the biggest, like, it's the biggest act of rebellion, like unlearning
Yeah,
the slavery, the mental slavery. And I'm talking
yeah,
about humans right now, right? That's the biggest. Being
yeah.
healthy, getting stronger, and working for yourself is the biggest
Huge. It's
act of
everything. You
rebellion.
cannot not be a slave and be a part of the system and be a fucking like I get it. You know, not everybody's meant to be an entrepreneur. You gotta have a lot of fucking tenacity in you to stick it out and last as an entrepreneur. But yeah, I just don't think it's possible to come back into full contact with what it means to be a human when you're part of the system in that way. Working a Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, living that mentality, you know?
Having to ask if you can go
Yeah,
on a lunch break.
yeah.
What is your opinion about babies,
Mm.
kids?
Getting ready to get pregnant. And I've been all of my work, I've really come to a place with my work where I had a realization this past winter that everything that I've learned about the female body has stemmed from a wounded place. And I was like, okay, I figured that out. I figured out that wounded place. And now it's time for a totally different relationship to the work rather than, you know, everything coming from the wounded healer archetypal place. And now this new iteration of my work is like, I'm so sick of just working with symptoms and like, you know, painful periods. And it's like, no, we're here to birth a whole different kind of being, this outside of captivity, way of being, and that takes women wanting to get so fucking healthy and in tune and in contact with their wholeness, which means their fucking instincts. And a woman who has fully in integrated, alive, in touch with her instincts is not going to give birth within a system that is inherently designed to cut her off at the legs, right? Literally, like that's what a C-section does, is cuts you off at the legs, right? And we are seeing C-section rates rise astronomically worldwide. And it's like, why? We have to start really looking at these patterns that are unfolding in our world. So what do I think about birth? I think women need to really get in touch with the truth of who they are and what they fucking came here to do, so that we can birth a whole new generation of people that are not going, like, everything's just, kids are getting sicker, everybody's getting sicker, you know.
Were you on the anti-baby bandwagon
No,
within
never.
feminism?
No, never,
No,
never.
okay, okay. Because I
Oh,
was,
really?
I was, I did the whole like, yeah, I was like the babies are tumors, and this world should
Oh,
end,
yeah,
right? Because it's like,
yeah.
so I did that. What I love about you mentioned previously somewhere on the gram or the Book of Faces, where you like when you speak of like getting back to your real wild and natural self, you're even addressing, and I have no problem saying this, like, we're not doing hair dye, we're not doing the fucking fake eyelashes, we're not doing the nail polishes, like, etc. Like, you're really
Everything.
talking about the purity, right?
And
Yeah, yeah,
it
yeah, yeah,
all
yeah.
stems, like, it's tricky because I'm also coming to a place of, like, where this purity lens does not serve us. But the reality is that babies' cord blood and placentas have well over 200 toxins in them, have microplastics in them, and women are just onslaughting their fucking bodies. And then we wonder why autism,
Mhm.
obviously vaccines are a part of autism, but so is the toxic environment that women are growing babies in.
Sure.
And
Mhm.
it is, you want to have a healthy baby who's fully intact. And like when that baby is born, that baby knows how to do the breast crawl, which is an instinctive, reflexive, natural response where a baby can crawl up a woman's belly and get to the breast and breastfeed, just like a puppy when it's born. Nobody's putting that puppy on the tit. They naturally know how to get there. Babies know how to do that too. But when babies are born in a cocktail soup of toxins, and then mom is given a whole host of drugs at birth, and these babies are literally coming out high, or totally fucking not in this world yet because of these drugs. Those instincts have been cut off. Can they come back? Yes, of course. That's what my work is all about. But we are doing such a massive fucking disservice to our children by growing them in toxic bodies. And that's just the reality of it that a lot of women don't want to fucking accept.
It's real. Absolutely. And again, and I'm part of it. Like, I have zero problems addressing. Yeah, that is fucking real. And one thing you even taught me when we were talking about trucks, I was like, oh my God, my heated seat, it's fucking God. And you're like, well, it's killing your husband's sperm cells. I'm like,
Yeah.
damn it.
And I mean, we can see this across the board too. Men's sperm sucks right now. It's fucking terrible, you know? And people are in such an entitled, bratty state in our world that they don't want to do the work across the board. They don't want to put in the work to have their own business, to make their own money. They don't want to put in the work to be healthy. They just want to have a baby. They just want to get pregnant, have a baby, and have the white picket fence and the nice house and go on with their lives. And that's why we're seeing so many unhealthy babies, kids these days. That's why miscarriage rates are through the fucking roof. Like, yes, we need to look at like the whole vaccine and what happened through COVID piece, but it's all accumulation. Why is men's sperm so fucking terrible right now? Because nobody gives a shit and nobody takes care of their fucking health. And all these things that we label as convenient and good for us all have consequences. Men's testicles need to stay cool to be healthy. They are on the outside of the body for a reason. And yeah, the heated seats things, it's a big one. It really is, because it's something that we do repeatedly pretty much every day, right? And
Right.
those things add up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For the city person, or maybe even no, not like suburban person that is
Mm-hmm.
listening right now and has felt like a nudge, like, okay, this life isn't for me, but I have no idea where to start. What do I
I mean,
do?
it's tough. Could I have done this life had I not grown up on a farm and knew how to do a lot of this shit? I don't know. I don't think obviously every single person can't go out and buy a farm and start the ranch life. We also don't have the land for that. Cities serve a purpose in that way.
Mhm.
Um, so, I mean, are there places and people and things that you can do just to go and start learning how to live this life? Yeah. Can anybody pick up any skill? Of course. The key is, like, do you actually have the determination and the grit? Because this has been the hardest 2 years. It's been amazing. I lived the dream, and it's been the hardest 2 years of my life. I never imagined I would be spending the amount of money I've spent. Never could have fathomed it. I never would have thought, oh yeah, I'll just drop 90K cash, you know? And it's just like, this is what has to happen. So it's just what we do. And then we make more money and we refigure it out, you know? Um, so, I mean, it goes with anything that you want in life. It's like, you got to actually, are you going to stand the test of time and stick it out, you know? Like, you don't get into this life to do it for a couple years and then just abandon ship,
No,
right?
no.
This is a fucking commitment.
I would say for city people themselves, food is one of the biggest
Absolutely.
things, right? And start getting dirty and work, like, and don't mean work out like an hour a day. If you can, like, start volunteering on a fucking
Totally.
farm or
Yeah.
ranch. Like, start moving your body in a practical, not just like, hey, I can lift this barbell, which is great. Also do that, but like start
Yeah.
getting
Like,
to it.
Paolo is amazing at building shit, like, and I can't tell you how many times I've posted pictures on Instagram of something he's built, and I've had guys be me and be like, fuck, I have no idea how he does that. And it's like, these are natural inherent skills that men should have, you know? And it's something that a lot of men have lost. They've lost that connection to being a builder, right? And
Yeah.
just getting those skills, like, literally anybody can get those skills, right? It just takes the commitment to put in the time and figure it out.
Yeah. Yeah, my goal is for the next property, because we're property shopping for a
Yeah.
bigger property, is to, I don't want to say retreats because couldn't care fucking less about retreats, but I want working camps. Right? Come over
Yeah.
here for a month. I'll teach you how to
Yeah.
split wood. I'll teach you this. And it's funny because, like, my husband, he's a specialist in
Mm-hmm.
hydroelectro pumps. And so everywhere he's water, he sees electricity, right? Like, it's such a, even as someone who doesn't understand, I'm like
Yeah.
seeing him like go through this process, and you can see how the other men respond to it. They're like, it becomes, I wonder if you recognize this, but like, he becomes like this daddy figure
Mm-hmm.
for a lot of people. And he's just like, I just want to exist, leave me alone, right? And they just like, all the other men, they're like, affirm me, daddy, affirm me, daddy. I want to become a daddy too. And he's like, what's with all these like
Yeah.
castrated men?
Well, I was reading an article the other day about the school system and how it was systemically chosen by design to have, when the school system was created, it wasn't men who were teaching, it was women. And little boys have been put into these systems and they're surrounded by women by choice. You know, I love women. Women are brilliant. Should little boys be being taught by women forever and ever and ever? Fuck no. No. And should little boys be
No.
made to sit at desks for, 6, 7, 8 hours a day? Fuck no. Right? And like this is I really try to not get too extreme. I'm in this phase in my life where I'm like I've been very dogmatic, very black and white, and I'm wanting to live in the nuance a lot more. And I mean, it's should children be put in the school system? No. You're training them to be
No.
slaves. That is what the school system is designed for, you know? And people
100.
don't do their research on anything. And it's fucking shocking how people just take the news blindly. They just do what they're fucking told. And it's like, you got to start questioning everything, you know? And you got to start questioning why are you even being told to birth in a hospital? Why are you even being told to send your child to fucking school to be
Yes.
taught by these strangers who are fucking stupid?
100. Well, and the school system is the funniest thing because I'm like, how are you as a teacher that is overwhelmed with 35 kids are going to teach my kid, but hypothetically, about being successful in life? Please tell me,
Exactly.
like,
Exactly.
how you
It's
live on a
insane.
minimum wage,
Yes.
you do not get
You're
by. Like,
you're not successful in
how
any
are
way.
you gonna? And look, and I didn't like as a rebellious person. So my husband's kids, he has three beautiful girls, grew up outside of the system. No social security number, in no birth certificate, nothing, right? Until they grew up of adult age, because they're all adults, and they got to choose. Because you can always
Yeah,
opt in the system.
of course. Yeah.
You can always opt. And I'm like, I didn't even know. I even though I question everything, the fact that I could question whether or not someone could be born without a social security number or whatever your version of country is, I'm like, that's a fucking thing.
Yeah.
And then you learn that if you're in the system, you're obliged to have your kids in some version of a school or some of a registry.
Yeah.
So if you do homeschooling, it has to be a registered homeschool, right?
Yeah.
If they're in the system. And I'm like, yo,
Yeah. This system has their tentacles in every single aspect of our lives, and we allow it. And that's what it comes down to is we have chosen, we've opted in and allowed it. And it takes a lot of balls to opt out, you know. And it takes the commitment. It's like if you really want to be a free human, are you gonna fucking stay the course?
it's so,
Or are
yeah.
you gonna falter and just say fuck it?
One day when you're going to visit here, one day, there is a town, and I'm not going to say the name because I don't want to, people don't know where I live for one, but there's a town that's completely off grid, and like 80% of the people do not exist on paper. And I'm like, yo, yo. And by the way, they have everything. They have ACs, they have a swimming pools. Like it's not some kind of like, what TV Hollywood kind of portrays.
Yeah.
No, it's like it's the modern life. They have
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
And over half of them doesn't exist on paper. Just I'm like, yo, this is so good.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
What needs to be talked about more?
Oh man. I mean fucking
What's your theme right now? What's present for you right now?
I mean women's health is always present for me. It's what I talk about and look at every day, all fucking day. And it's things aren't getting better in terms of women's health, you know. Things are getting worse. Women are having a harder time getting pregnant, staying pregnant. I can't tell you how many women I see in the online space um, who one are having miscarriage after miscarriage after miscarriage or getting pregnant, and then they're getting like a cerclage put in to stay pregnant. And it's like pregnancy is meant to be, it's not meant to be. Pregnancy is a state of health. And we've been conditioned to believe that pregnancy is a symptom, it's an illness, it's a degenerative state. And it's not. It is the epitome of health to be able to grow another human and birth another human. And the amount of women who aren't able to do that anymore is shocking. It's frightening. It should be very frightening to a lot of people. And yeah, what's most alive for me in my work and in my life is like I'm 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 doing so many little things. Well, not little things, big things to I want to experience what the human body's actually made for, you know? We have no idea how good we're meant to feel. We have no idea how easy it should be to get pregnant, how easy it should be to birth a baby and feel amazing, not feel like you almost fucking died after you gave birth, and how to be a mother and thrive through fucking motherhood and not have your hair fall out and your fucking teeth fall out. You know, like all of these extremely challenging, difficult, degenerative ways of being a woman in this world is just not necessary. And I'm super excited to really take things to a whole new level of health, of like what's actually possible, because very few people are experiencing what's actually possible in their bodies.
Like, I know one day I'm gonna actually see you just fucking levitate because you're just like, yo, the natural laws are just a suggestion by for now. Like, I don't even care about them anymore.
Yeah.
I love it. Where can we find you? Even though I will link everywhere, everything. Is there anything else you want to say, talk about, discuss, amplify, emphasize?
I mean, we touched on so many little pieces, but I do want to end saying, like, you know, for the people who have the Monday to Friday, the 9 to 5, live in the city, you know, you can't choose to be riddled with shame or guilt for living that lifestyle. That's not going to serve you at all. You got to, if you got touched, you know, through these conversations, that's your sign to be like, okay, I need to figure something out, you
Yeah.
know? And it's when you listen to those little fucking whispers your life. And you can't expect it all to just boom change overnight. You know, you got to be willing to put in the work. You got to be willing to make the fucking sacrifices. I lived in a camper for 2 years to save up money to buy this place.
Right. And now you have a gorgeous mansion, but you lived in a camper.
Yeah, a fucking through Canadian winters
I was about to say in Canadian winter. That was literally what I was going to say. Yeah.
with just an electric heater. See, my dogs cried for the first 5 days in this camper. They were so sad. And I was like, this is just what we got to do, girls. You know, we got to fucking buckle down and we're figuring this out. And you got to be willing to make sacrifices to live the life that you want to fucking live. Because it isn't
And
just.
and just like this is something that's very alive for me, so I'm bringing it up everywhere. It's not that because you see people who live a dream life of variations. Obviously, you see the highlights. It does not mean that there's no bad days. And like,
Exactly.
right? I don't want to create the illusion that the winners they only have good days.
Yeah, no.
What is a bad day? What can a bad day for you look like? And what is the inner conversation, or like what is the inner process? Anything.
I mean, bad days can look different for sure. Some days, a bad day, I'm just like exhausted and collapsed on the fucking couch watching reels. Sometimes that's a bad day. Sometimes a bad day is I'm fucking down at the horses crying because, you know, my husband and I were fucking fighting and we're just like can't stand one another because it's hard doing all this shit. Right? And we don't always see eye to eye. Sometimes that's a bad day. Um, but
Do you have
or
doubt?
oh, all the time, 100%. Or when making fence, like I don't like to drive the equipment. I'd rather be outside doing the fucking grunt work. And you know, when we're exhausted and like trying to get this shit done, that can be a bad day too. So I've held so many fence posts and just cried the whole time. And it's just like, okay, it's fine. You know, I'm just gonna have my feelings because I'm not a robot. And just because I live a beautiful life doesn't mean I don't have these hard feelings. And some days I'm like, fuck, I can't do this anymore. I don't know how I'm gonna do this. You know, I don't know how we're gonna bring in the money to keep this going. And that's what I said at the start of the call. I allow myself to have those days and be in it, but I give myself a timeline. because in the end, I can have these feelings of doubt, fear of like, fuck, we, we're not going to keep
Overwhelmed.
going here. I sit in it, I stay in it, and then it's like, okay, now we have to figure it out.
Right.
Because the option of quitting, it's not an option. It's just like the option of divorce isn't a fucking option. You do the work to figure out the fucking problems and fix it. And this why our divorce rate is so fucking high, because people quit. People are quitters instead of putting in the work.
Yeah, and I'm absolutely like, so I got married for my first marriage was for funsies.
Yeah.
Now that I have a amazing hub, or we're not married yet. Now I'm like, oh, this is what marriage is like and about. Like it's a complete different layer, right?
Mm-hmm.
The first marriage I didn't have no problem throwing away because it wasn't anything to begin with.
Totally. Yeah.
Right. So
And I think that's such a piece of the feminist ideology too. It's just like everything's just throwaway.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you make different choices when things are just throwaway.
Yeah. Very different.
Replaceable. Yeah. And so on that note, ending, like I want everyone to understand that Carly up in this bitch can have bad days when she's crying and doing the fence post.
Yeah. You still do both.
Yes. And this is the thing, right? Like for me, when I'm like working out right now or splitting wood, I'll be happily crying. No, not happily. I'm crying. Fucking like it is what it is.
Yeah, it is what it is. I fucking hate this. I don't want to be doing this. And it's got to get done. And when I'm done, I'm going to feel different.
There we go.
Bad feelings don't last forever. And you don't need to fucking, we're so addicted to popping pills and because we don't ever want to feel a bad feeling. And pain and pleasure are two sides of the same coin. I want to feel all the dark, deep shit because that means I'll have access to all the beauty and the pleasure and the joy that is on the other side of it. You don't get one without the other. You've been sold a total fucking lie that life is meant to be rainbows and peaches and it's just supposed to feel good 24/7. No, it's fucking not.
And it's your responsibility to create the circumstances and to become the vessel for those good feelings.
Totally.
Like that's your responsibility. And it feels so good when you do create that. It's like it's good.
The best. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much, babe.
Thanks, babe.
Everyone, follow on the Instagram, on the Facebook. The links are gonna be everywhere. You're gonna. I don't think I've ever said this about a podcast guest, but Carly is one that no one exists like her. I know, like, no, we have niches and we have like little industries. She's her own fucking industry. No one exists like her. And like I say, I think you are literally the perfect combination of, the traditional taught things, right? Money, business, and then and real land, real connection.
Yeah.
Like you're the bridge of those.
Yeah. Thank you.
Everyone, rich and hydrated with Carly here. I'll see y'all in the ether.